Good morning, class 7. This is chapter 16 and 17. I will merge it and I will give you a short summary. This is Australia, which is located in the southern hemisphere, and so it is often referred as the land of down under. Australia comes from a Latin word australis, means southern. The country's official name is Commonwealth of Australia because earlier it was ruled by the British as India was ruled. So, Australia is unique because of its only country that extends over the entire continent. It is the sixth largest country in the world, but the smallest continent. Other popular name for the country is island continent, continent of state, one country continent, and the land migrants. Because land migrants, because there the people have been migrated from British and other places of Europe. Where is Australia located? It is located between the Indian Ocean in the west and the South Pacific in the east. Arafura Sea lies in the north. The large water bodies of south of Australia is the Southern Ocean. It is from the southeast from the mainland of Asia. Tropic of Capricorn passes through it, and as it is situated, you can see in the southern hemisphere, its climate is more or less, the climate is totally opposite to India. Australia's capital is Canberra. Here English and Aboriginal language is spoken. The major rivers of Australia are Murray, Darling and Murrumbidgee. Australia have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 states and their capitals. I have some of the important cities of Australia is Canberra, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, Darwin. As these names, Hobart, you have been aware of it because these names we can hear these names with cricket, because in all these places cricket has been played out. Canberra is its capital city, whose population is 30 lakhs and 150 kilometers. It is in the eastern coast of Australia. Here we can find the Parliament House, High Court of Australia, National Library, Museum of Australia, everything. Next is Sydney. Sydney is well known for its opera. We know here its capital is the largest city of Australia, and its capital is South Wales. Sydney is one of the most beautiful cities of the world, famous for its harbour, beautiful coastline, pleasant climate, and Sydney is the largest natural harbour, that is Port Jackson, and most famous landmark of Sydney is the Harbour Bridge and the Sydney Opera. Next is Brisbane, capital is Queensland. Melbourne is also capital is Victoria. Melbourne is famous for its seaports and automobile industries. Adelaide is the capital of South Australia. It's famous for its electronic component production. Perth is capital of Western Australia, and the population is about 18 lakh. Perth is famous for its Brisbane beaches. Darwin is capital of Northern Territory, and here two economic important activities are taking place: mining and tourism. Minerals like bauxite, magnesium, and uranium has been found over here, and natural gases like oil and found in the North Sea. Hobart is the capital of Tasmania. Here it is a small island. There are cities, busy seaport, and here tourists are very vibrant. It has several industries including high-speed catamaran, that is a type of boat, and the factory of zinc cement. Physical features: it has highlands which extend from Cape York and Tasmania. Cape York in the north and Tasmania in the south, which is rough, parallel, and very close to the east coast of Australia. The highlands are called George Range, and in Queensland the Blue Mountains, and the New England Range of South Wales in Victoria. It is called the Austrian Alps, as the highest peak of it is Mount Kosciuszko, which is 2,200 meters above the sea level. It has other features like the central lowlands, the western plateau, the Rift Valley, etc. Here rivers and lakes are found. Here the rivers are perennial and drawn by the Pacific Ocean, drawn into the Pacific Ocean. The rivers flow down the western slope for a longer and flow to the central lowland. Australia is the world's driest continent, so there are few rivers. The rivers are mostly seasonal and get filled with water only during the rainy season. The rainy season of the northern Australia is in summer, while in the southern it is in winter. Here the Murray-Darling system is the biggest drainage system of Australia. The Murray River is the longest permanently flowing river of Australia. River Darling is the country's longest river, but it is not perennial. Both these rivers originate in the Eastern Highlands. The two main rivers as well as the tributaries are Murrumbidgee, that's not Murrumbidgee, and the Lachlan are fed by the rain falling in the regions of Australian Alps. The largest, Australia has some shallow lakes, salt lakes. The largest is Lake Eyre, Lake Torrens, Lake Garenda, Lake Foam, all of which is lying in the South Australia. There are some of the lakes are artificially created, such as Lake Argyll in Western Australia or Garden in Tasmania. Large supplies of underground water are plentiful in the artesian basins. However, much of the water is salty and unsuitable for irrigation, as well as human consumption is not also possible. It is used for drinking water for livestock, mainly cattle and sheep. Now, the Great Barrier Reef, long underground bodies like feature in the northeast coast of Australia. It is composed of millions of shells of tiny marine creatures called coral polyps. These corals die, their hard cells remain fixed in places. Since these polyps live in colonies, they may die. They are large accumulation of skeletons from coral leaves which are circular or ridge-like. The Great Barrier Reef of Australia's biggest tourist attraction. The warm, shallow, salty lake between the reef and the shore of the home of tropical fishes of bright colors and abound in the underwater paradise. Australia is known for its sheep rearing. Large farms of sheep stations are found here. Thousands of hectares of land is used. Many hundreds of sheep are reared here. Their fleeces are meat and mutton of these sheep stations. Each farms are owned by family and seem to be managed with the help of number of paid laborers called jackers. The entire sheep station is fenced by and divided into smaller sections called paddocks. And the jackers take care of the sheep and protect them from the dingo and the diseases. They move the sheep from one paddock to another in order to prevent overgrazing. Besides, they repair fences in order to keep out the grass eating rabbits and kangaroos. Shearing is removal of the fleeces of the body, which starts at the end of the winter, beginning in the hot summer. The sheep are round by and taken to the pen. Shearing, the process of collecting sheep, is called mastering. This shearing is done with the help of electric shearing machines, which is done in a few minutes. This fleece is then cleaned, sorted, packed and sent to cities to export. Australia has the second largest number of sheep in the world, produces 21% of the world's total wool. Australia is also the largest exporter of wool in the world, and exports about 90% of the total produces. The merino breed of sheep is the best, whose best fleece or wool is mainly reared to Australia. It thrives well in the temperature parts of Australia, where rainfall is about 20 to 60 centimeter. The main sheep rearing states of Australia are South Wales, Victoria, Australian Australia and South Australia. The land between the Moore and Darling Basin is more suitable for sheep rearing.